Is Vanguard actually recommending a 30% stocks to 70% bond portfolio? Are they actually recommending that? Some guy posted, a friend of mine posted on my Facebook feed the other day. And I said, really? He goes, yeah. I said, okay, let's take a look. So I'm skeptical. Skeptical Josh is my name. So I went to Grok. I said, Grok, is Vanguard really recommending a 30 to 7% bond portfolio? And Grok says, yes, Vanguard has recently recommended 30% to stocks, 70% bond for the next decade. The guys reported from Business Insider and Yahoo Finance. And I said, oh, Business Insider and Yahoo Finance. Interesting, because those guys are always spitting true bombs, aren't they? So I said, okay, let's take a look. And I let my dogs out because I just do their bidding. So I said, okay, here's a link. Vanguard says buy more bonds than stocks over the next decade. Did they actually say that? Is that what they said? That's from Business Insider. MSN, Business Insider. These guys are all, like I said, spit truth bombs. As of earlier this week, the asset manager recommends having 70% of your money and 30% in bonds. The firm's downbeat outlook for stocks is essentially another iteration of the message Wall Street banks have been sending since last year. Well, Vanguard's been saying this for freaking decades now. So I'm looking to see where this is. Where is the ideal portfolio for the next 10 years? Looks pretty shocking at first glance. I'm looking, where is this? So that's the only link we have. So we click on this guy, and it takes us to another Business Insider link. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And we said Vanguard, this is from August 6th, today's August 27th. Vanguard suggests a 70-30 bond to stock allocation. Vanguard predicts U.S. equities return 3.5% to 5.5% annually versus 4.5% or 5% for bonds for the next 10 years. Okay. Well, they've been predicting stocks not to do very well for, again, many, many years now. Which is exactly why Vanguard says long-term investors should park more money in bonds than conventional wisdom suggests. So let's click on this link. And again, it just takes us to another Business Insider thing from July. It's such a freaking, this is such a clown show, dude. Data from Vanguard shared with Business Insider highlights the trend, something financial advisors say people in most circumstances should try to steer clear of, which is what? Using your 401k as an emergency fund. Okay, well, that's not saying put more bonds and stocks. Okay, so anyway, it's just, we're getting dumb here. So anyway, let's go back to this, because this is, I'll show you what they're doing. Oh boy, I can't log in, because I'm not stupid. I don't invest in stupid Business Insider, because it's idiotic. But anyway, check this. Yeah, I can't do it anyway. I'll cancel any time. Let's see. No, we can't do it. Anyway, what they said, what Vanguard, actually, let's see if I can't find the Vanguard Capital Markets. All right, so here's the return on Vanguard assets, U.S. equities 3.5 to 5.3 over the next 10 years, which is down 0.5% from what they had before. Bonds will go 4.0 to 5.0, down 0.2% when they had before. And you can see right here, you can see over 10 years, this is what they think. They think stocks will give us right there 3.5 to 5.5, and bonds will give us 4 to 5, all right? And that's over 10 years. But now let's go to 30 years, shall we? Let's click on the 30-year thing here. And stocks will give us 4.5 to 6.5, and bonds will give us a 4.1 to 5.1. All right, and so, I mean, that's, all right, so now just let me pause real quick and go back. I want to show you the June one. And again, same kind of thing here. This is June without question. I'm still looking. What happened to small cap premium? That's fun. I just did. Didn't I do a video on that a couple weeks ago? If you look here, I'm saying, well, where do they say dump more money into bonds? And I don't see it here. Isn't that interesting? Where do they say dump more money in bonds? They just say over 10 years, they think stocks will underperform bonds. But they'll say you should put your money in bonds. Necessarily, they don't. And I'm like, where are they getting this from? Very interesting. And I can't find it. I don't find anywhere where Vanguard says put 70% of your portfolio in bonds and 30% in stocks. The only thing that remotely comes close to that is Vanguard says if you are a 10-year investor or less, 10-year investor or less, they don't even say we advise. They just say our portfolio model suggests that bonds will outperform stocks over the next 10 years. That's it. It doesn't say put 70% of your portfolio in bonds. It just says if you have a 10-year time frame. Time value of money, essentially, over 10 years. And that's it. So you're 80 years old. Put 70% of your stocks in. They don't say this. They don't say explicitly, but they say bonds they think will outperform stocks. Nowhere ever do they say put 70% of your portfolio in bonds, ever. Now, you can apply that. Well, they're saying if I have a 10-year time frame, bonds expected to do better. Let me go ahead with bonds. I get that. Vanguard explicitly isn't saying anything like that. It's just silly, man. It's Business Insider, just clickbait. Look, everyone, anytime Vanguard sneezes, we all catch a cold. I get it. You see what I'm saying? But it's just clickbait crap, and I hate it, man. I'm using it for clickbait right here. Click on it. Hey, Vanguard's really saying this. Let me click what Josh says about this. Hey, I get freaking that sweet, sweet YouTube money. And I mean, it's stupid, though. It's just not true. I'm 55. Should I sit there and say put 70% of my portfolio in bonds? Maybe. I don't know. But that's not what Vanguard's saying. Anyway, all right, we'll see you. Pound that like button. Just literally, when you see a Business Insider article and you say, I just got to get mad. So you just take it out of my like button. You pound that like button. If you haven't fondled the subscribe button yet, make sure you fondle that subscribe button and blow it a kiss if you're a good looking lady. All right, God bless. We'll see you.